forgotten really what the words diversity and inclusion mean. Inclusion is very, very important to the human race. It's the reason why we're the top of the food chain. Because one person cannot beat a lion in a fight, but 12 people can outsmart a lion. So tribing, including each other, is the reason we run planet Earth and not the lions. It's essential to our survival. Inclusion is survival. If any of our children, does anyone here have children or knows a child? Yeah. If any of our children behaved the way we behave at a networking event, we would take them to a therapist and have them seen. We would genuinely would. We would be concerned about them. We'd say they can't fit in. They're nervous. They're just... We'd be genuinely worried because 4-year-olds assume inclusion. A 4-year-old will walk into a playgroup or a nursery and walk in, they'll just go, oh, there's some blocks, there's some children, more blocks than children, I reckon I'm in there. And they sit down and they just start building things with blocks, and then you pick them up an hour later and they go, oh, it's amazing, we built a robot, and then the robot turned into a tower. And you go, oh, who was that person you were playing, that little boy you were playing with? I don't know. He didn't have a business card, but he was... We made an excellent robot. Do you want to hear about it or not? If any of our 4-year-olds behaved the way we behaved at a networking event, we would be worried if they went into that playgroup going, some blocks and some children. Just get a bit closer, see if I can make any eye contact. One of them might be... I think I'll just send an email. I think I'll just... be a concern. Be concerned, because children assume inclusion and we don't. At some point in our adolescence, we stop assuming inclusion for good reason. Do you remember assuming you were included in a group of cool teenagers and discovering they did not agree that you were included? It's the worst feeling in the world, isn't it? It feels like you've lost something when you go up and go, oh, what are you guys listening to? And they go, you just go, oh no, I'm not included here and I've acted like I am. It feels like a loss. So as a teenager, we learn to just sort of loiter and go, yeah, I don't care, I'm just, to be honest, happy with the wall. But, I mean, if you guys want to include me, that's fine, don't care. Not interested either way. Happy to be included, happy not to be. That's what it says on my T-shirt. So, and that's where we learn it. We learn it at some point in adolescence. We often see this trend, a gender trend, or a trend that I guess the dominant group finds it easier to include themselves more than the undominant group. And in gender lines, that tends to be men find it easier to include themselves than women. There's a thing on the HuffPo that does the rounds every 6 months. It's a study that says, I think it's actually quite anecdotal study, really, to be honest, but it chimes with people. It says that men assume that they need 50% of the skills to go up for a new role, and women assume they need, does anyone know? It's 100%. So they look at the job description and go, well, I don't have all of those things, so no. And the conclusion is always, so women should be more confident like men are. And I always think, well, yeah, kind of, but also at the same time, maybe men could stop going up for jobs they're not qualified for. like President of the United States of America. Do us all a favour and stop driving things off a cliff. I don't know, just an idea. Maybe we could all go up for jobs we're like 80% qualified for, basically competent, room to grow into the role, and sort of meet somewhere in the middle. Do you see what I mean? I sometimes think men overly include themselves in situations that they shouldn't. A lot of people in your organisation don't really put their whole selves in, because what if they suggest a change and they're the different one? They're the odd one. What if things go wrong? What will be the consequence for them? So it's possible you're getting your most diverse ideas from your most homogenized people and your most homogenized ideas from your most diverse people. So hiring diversity isn't enough. You need to make those people who are diverse feel central to the tribe. And one way of doing that is to show them how to assume inclusion. And the other way of doing that is to retrain the tribe to understand the value of their diversity. So if you want your organization to be more inclusive, look at those who've experienced exclusion and make them safe, central, and senior in the tribe and give them the job of including. And then train those guys who don't see doors, they only see corridors, to understand what it's like to be excluded. Give them some experiences. Work to really think about where you feel included, where your staff feel most included, where they can turn up unannounced. Where's that Christmas day for them? Where are those places where they feel peripherally included, where they have to pretend they're included, where they self-exclude, where they don't even know that they're doing it because it's ritual and routine to them.
If there was one experience to give the guy that's walked down the corridor, what would that be to show them?
Well, I think it depends on your organization, but I think giving somebody an immersive experience of being the only one like them, but actually making them sustain that. So, for example, when I come and talk, I often talk to women's organizations within industries or companies, and there'll often be a senior man there who's come out to introduce or to say, hey, I'm an ally or whatever. And if there's only women in the audience, they'll always come out and go, oh, I feel a bit outnumbered, feel a bit unsafe. Oh, do you? Do you? Every time they can't do it without making a joke about it. I'm like, mate, this is just our life. And as strange as it is for you to be in a room full of women, it's twice as strange for us. We don't get to see other women. If I'm a comedian, you're the only woman on the bill. I met another female comedian until I started doing the Guilty Feminist podcast, because we're separated to dilute the pool. I mean, it's just extraordinary. So any situation where you can immerse that individual in being with people that aren't like them, where they're not the dominant group, but asking them to sustain it and not comment on it, not give a running commentary on how weird it is to be the only white straight man and, oh, we don't know what's happening now. I don't know whether to sexually harass someone or not these days. You don't know. It's so difficult to be a white man now, isn't it? You wouldn't. I mean, it's hard to know whether to touch a woman's breast at a job interview or not, the way it's going. Political correctness gone mad. Stop commentating on it. Stop making your discomfort with necessary change my emotional problem, and create some training around that. Create some training and put people into situations. It could be just going somewhere where they don't speak the language, but you take away the phone and the ability. You know how they do on The Apprentice, where they pretend Google hasn't been invented. And they just go, send people off with an A to Z, and of course they can't work it. They're 21. But actually doing stuff like that, where we go out of our comfort zone again and we draw parallels. But what I would say is let the diverse people in your organization who don't feel fully comfortable design the program that the senior white male straight partners, and to be honest, also white women, we're not great either a lot of the time. We don't know we don't see, we just go, oh, that whole door which was locked for me, and then the four that were open. We don't see it, and we have to listen, and we have to immerse ourselves. If you're LGBTQ+, you've got a hidden diversity, you've got to declare yourself. And when do you do that? I've got a friend who's gay, and he's in a consultancy, and he said, every time I go with a new client, I think, don't mention it immediately, then I'm the gay guy, and that's the main thing about me. But if I haven't mentioned it by Friday, I've lied, and I'm in the closet. And then it's going to come out, and they're going to go, why didn't you say? So he said, I've got this 48-hour window. He said, it's like an episode of 24 where the clock starts. Between Wednesday and Thursday, throw it away, casual-like. And he said, when I had a boyfriend, that was fine, because I could just say, oh, I'm meeting my boyfriend tonight. He said, no, I don't. I have to say ex-boyfriend, then it sounds like I'm a drama queen. He said, so I don't know what to say. So he gets an ally to say it for him, to just mention something that demonstrates that, you know, he's in the LGBT society or something like that, just to throw it in. But he said it's a stress, because we don't know about that if we're straight. We don't know what it is to have hidden diversity, you know, if we're a person of colour, we can't hide it. It's, you know, we've got to walk into that room, and there's no window. Nobody's going to, you know, when you walk away, goes, do you think that guy was black? No, I would have noticed. No, my black track is really good. That's a diversity that cannot be hidden, and there's all sorts of assumptions made. So, we don't know about these experiences if we are not of that group. It's not just about men. We're all in one way or another have our entitlements. So ask people in your organization to design the experience. That, create role play situations where you've got the hidden diversity and you've got to reveal it.